Hey y'all, I feel like I've been through hell and back, let's just say that. I wanted to come on here and do a after the effect from being home from the hospital. I might have screwed some things up on the hospital video. So let me get some, cause you gotta remember I was on heavy drugs. So let me tell y'all what went on. And I do apologize to some of y'all. I want to start the video off with that because if anybody knows, it's Tan. Tan could tell you best, but I haven't seen Tan here on YouTube in a long time. But Tan will tell you first and foremost, if Jess is in the hospital, 9 times out of 10, she's not going to answer because she's on that good stuff and she's sleeping, and that's correct. I'm on some type of pain meds through my IV. I don't even cut the TV on in the hospital. I don't, y'all. I sleep. I get my beauty rest while I'm there. And if I'm in the severe pain that I'm in, I'm going to sleep. So I believe there was some stuff in that video that I didn't break down. So first and foremost, I apologize to y'all that were reaching out to me and I wasn't getting back with y'all. I apologize. Even my mom knows. Do not call. 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to answer. But let me tell y'all what happened. So I was sitting here at home in pain for days down there in my butt area. I can't think of another word for it right now. We're just going to say butt. So with the Ceton being in place, those of y'all that don't know what a Ceton is, it's like 4 wires hanging out of my butt area, the right butt cheek to be exact. That's where the wires are hanging out of. So with that being in place, if I get a perianal abscess, it's supposed to automatically drain on its own with no surgery. So I sat around home for 4 days just waiting on it to drain in. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger down there in that area to where it's like hot, it's running its own fever, it's pushing it up against my skin. I mean, it hurts real bad to where it's like it starts off like this, and then it gets like this, like the size of a softball. Y'all know those big balls that the women get out there on the baseball team and hit in the women's league or whatever. That's how big mine usually get. So it got to the point where, like, forget this. I called my doctor. I said, look, this is what's going on, blase, blase. He was like, okay, get to the ER, have them page me when you get there. Okay. Get to the ER. I probably wasn't in the emergency room no more than about maybe an hour, 30 minutes tops, and then I was admitted. So then I get up there on the floor, and I was running a fever too when I got there. A low fever though, like 100.3, real low. But they had already, in the emergency room, they had already done started me on Dilaudid. So in the emergency room, I started off with Dilaudid every 2 hours, then morphine every 2 hours. And I was receiving an antibiotic called Flagyl. I believe that's the name. If I'm saying it wrong, please excuse me. So then when I got up there on the floor, I had a CT scan. Those of y'all that know me, you know I'm allergic to IV contrast, so they have to do it without the IV contrast, blase, blase. I had that done. They put me back in the room. Then they started, so I had a Flagyl drip. It was actually IV bag by itself. And then, of course, I had the saline, and I think they got to mix the saline in with antibiotics. Don't quote me on that. But I know I was getting saline around the clock. But upstairs, I started also getting another antibiotic, but it was in a needle that they would push through my IV, and I believe it was called Rocephin. I know it started with an R, and that sounds like what I was getting. So I was getting 2 different antibiotics. They came in there and did a culture on me. I think it was 4 bottles just to make sure I wasn't sepsis. So they did that. And so then Saturday night, my doctor sent in his underdog. That's what I'm going to call her, the underdog. She is a doctor, yes, but it wasn't my main doctor, so we're just gonna call her the underdog. So she came in the room and she was like, okay, we're getting ready to do your procedure, blah blah blah. And I was like, wait a minute, wait a damn minute now. I said, hold up, because I know the rules and regulations. Please trust me. I've had this done several times, okay? So I'm like, wait a minute now. I have anesthesiologist hasn't been in here. I have not met with them. I have not signed off on nothing. I said the OR department hasn't been in here. I haven't signed off on anything. And you're standing here in my room getting ready to tell me that pretty much you're getting ready to transport me to the OR? No, ma'am. That shit don't fly by me, because they have special transportation that comes and gets you and transports you to the OR. If y'all do not know what the OR is, the OR stands for the operating room, okay? You got to go down there to the operating room. They put you in this little room. They usually, if you're not admitted, okay, let's just say you're going in for outpatient surgery. You go into like this little bay area. You meet with the anesthesiologist, you meet with the OR team, and then you see your doctor, because he has to come sign off on some paperwork too. Sometimes you have to be white with, what is that stuff called? Betadine. Sometimes you have to be white with that stuff from shoulder down. It all depends on how they're going to do your procedure, okay? So, like I said, the underdog standing in my room, and she was like, okay, we're getting ready to do this procedure. So I random questions about her, and I was like, oh, hold up, like, what's going on here, ma'am? And she said, no, you're not going to the operating room. We're getting ready to do it right here in your room. I said, so what are you saying? You're saying I'm not getting no anesthesia? No, ma'am. I've got several lidocaine needles here that's going to numb you. That's going to numb that area, and then I'm going to cut you. I said, oh, hell to the no. Oh, hell to the no. Well, let her tell it. The first lidocaine needle was going to numb the area, okay? Yeah, she told me, she said, all right, now look, the first needle is going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's going to sting. But every needle after that, you won't feel a thing. Well, she lied. She lied. I felt every single needle, and I felt every single cut that woman was doing. And I'm like, I was a pretty bad girl in there. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was cussing. I was a sinner. I was a sinner that night. And she brought the right people in the room to hold me down the way they did, because, oh, had it have been anybody different, they would have been hurt in certain areas, let's just say that, because of the little movement that I did have, because I had to lay on my right side and bring my left knee all the way up to my chest for them to do this thing. So the person that's standing in front of me was literally holding me and holding the left butt cheek up. I know that's too much information, but I'm an honest person, right? But she had enough force to keep me in the place to where I didn't need her. Then the other person that was standing right here had enough force on my hands to where I couldn't throw hands. You hear what I'm saying? So this woman's doctor, she starts cutting on me, and I'm like, hey, that's not the area. Move the knife up some, okay? So, I was cut severely, y'all. Really bad. And, but once she hit that spot, it was like, oh my God. That's how it felt, because you could feel the warmth coming out. So she had done hit the spot, and you felt so much relief, like all the pressure was gone. Then all of a sudden she says, all right, I know I got it, but I need to cut you 3 more times. What? She cut me 3 more times. And the reason for that being is she had to make sure she got it all out, right? So after that, yes, I did. Somebody's already done text me about it because of a post I put somewhere else. Yes, I did apologize to everyone in the room, because they were due an apology out of respect for the job that they did. This is my first time that I've ever been up underneath the knife and I was awake. So yes, it was severely painful. So yes, I would hate to hear anybody go through a story like that to where they weren't put to sleep. Though this is the worstest thing I've ever went through. So, you know, when I get discharged, I'm like, okay, I feel good. I can go do this. I can go do that. Blase, blase. That's the drugs talking little girl. Trust and believe me. Because when those drugs wear off that they was pushing through your IV, that's when pain really hits. Yes, ma'am. Pain really hits. And if you only knew how I'm sitting here on this couch, I do not have my whole tush on this couch. I am sitting at a side, you know, where I'm like sitting on my hip. So there you have it. To those of you that did call and text and say, hey, is everything okay? I haven't heard from you. I do thank y'all. I've kind of got back with everyone. Thank you bunches. I love all y'all. And just know this one too shall pass, but boy, it takes a strong woman to sit there. And I'm just going to say be tortured the way I was tortured. Because I was. But it takes a strong one to go through some pain like that. And I'm still bruised. So, excuse me, y'all. I'm getting ready to take my Tylenol and go to bed because I was not sent home with anything for pain. My discharge paper says that some antibiotics was called into the pharmacy for me, but it wasn't. So I've got to get on that tomorrow and say, hey, you know, want no antibiotics called in for me. I need them because I'm doing these sitz baths, blase, blase. Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to say to y'all. She said the reason why she cut me the way she did is so that she can open that area back up where the ceton is, so I don't have to go through something like this again. So I'm opened all the way back up now. So if I do have a reoccurring one, it's going to automatically drain on its own. Hope y'all get that, and I hope that made that clear on this video, because I know some things I wasn't clear about on the other video. So if I missed anything here, let me know, and I can come back and kind of fill you in if I've missed anything, because I'm still just here. I'm still just simple old me. And here we are. Another day goes by. Another one bites the dust. And off to bed I go.